Learning directly in a live session with a teacher is a preparation to the journey of the self discovery. And repeat listening by yourself, sitting alone, followed by contemplation and reflection, results into realization of the real self. So, knowledge of the real self means what? Knowledge means what? Then we will talk about the real self.
To know.
Knowledge of any object or any subject means it does not change. This is my remote. If I say this remote is TV, you will not believe. So one of the best thing to understand in the knowledge that if I have knowledge of a mouse, it does not change. Knowledge of a TV, it does not change. Even if I say, no, 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 it's not a TV, forget about it. No, I won't believe. So what happens? Today, yesterday, I was upset. So I have a knowledge about myself being upset. Today in the morning, I'm happy. Oh, I have a knowledge about me being happy. So I have changed. It means I don't have a right knowledge about the real self. Think. Think you need to think and contemplate. So knowledge means I have a knowledge about the earth and I say, no, no, it is moon, you won't believe. It is validated. It is understood. It has given me a name. Everyone knows it is an earth. How can you say it is a moon? But yesterday I was upset, so I said I am upset. That is one knowledge. Today I say I am happy. That is another knowledge. Oh, contradictory knowledge about me. We have used to be such, our mind has become so much normal to the false eye that we do not even think who we are.
Why can't the real self change? Like why can't it always be changing?
If the real self changes, then we do not remember what happened in my life in my childhood. I will even do not remember I was a child. So there is some I which keeps track of all the changing. There has to be something which does not change throughout my years after years, who recognizes what is changing, but I do not change. I was 10 years old, that I did not change. So 10 years old means the changes in the body and the mind. 20 years. So that I did not change. That is why I remember I was 10 years old and 20 years old.
I see. So you're saying because I'm able to actually say I was 10, I was 15, who is that I?
Who is that I? You got it. You got it really. And
Okay.
our journey of the self discovery is that I take falsely.
That happens all the time though. Like you can think about it. Like I would say, God, I was so happy. I was so in love. I was acting so crazy.
Yeah. You're right. That is what the ignorance is.
That's what we do all day long.
That's why I live in ignorance. That is what we say. We have a mistaken identity. We have a mistaken identity that what is changing, I claim this is me. I was not a born husband, but I take myself as a husband, so it means what? I have a mistaken identity. What is ignorance? It's a mistaken identity. It's a wrong notion. I stress on the wrong notion. That is what I said. This remote is TV, you won't believe. But I believe I'm a husband and I'm a wife. I'm 50 years old, I'm 6. I believe.
So like Girish, like when you say like, so you say you're a husband to your wife, but like but you actually know that that's not what you are. That's just what you say, but that's not what you actually are.
Yes,
I
that
see.
is what not I am. That is an now we say we categorize that as an apparent reality. There is one is the ultimate reality that I do not change, but then there is an apparent reality. I am 10 years old, 20 years old, 50 years old. I am married, I am father and mother, and I am upset and I am happy and unhappy. These they keep on changing.
Yeah.
So I cannot be an apparent reality. No, I cannot be the apparent reality. So means we have to stick to that what exactly is the knowledge. And that knowledge has to be proven by valid knowledge. It should be valid. We don't need to go with the belief and cult and dogma and religion. No issue. The Eastern wisdom is highly rational. So, in understanding that knowledge, we also, what is that understanding? Understanding means cause and effect. Ask yourself, is body a cause and effect? Is body a cause or an effect? It is an effect. It is not a cause. So, I cannot be the body. Is the mind cause and effect? Yes, I say something stupid and you get upset. Obviously, mind has an impact. So, the mind always perceives the effect. It is not the ultimate cause. How can I know that mind is not the ultimate cause? You remove the consciousness from the mind stops functioning. You remove the consciousness from the body stops functioning. Oh, so they are the effect. That is why we say we have the three bodies. We have a physical body, we have a subtle body, we have a causal body. Causal body, why we say it is the cause of both the mind and the body. So what is behind that causal body? It is the real self. So
What does that mean, causal body?
causal means it is the cause of both the subtle body, the mind, and the physical body. Causal, cause. So, and that causal body is also known as the ignorance. It contains all the impressions. Before the DNA present in the body, before the DNA, there must be some impressions that should be inherited by the DNA at the physical level. That is why my DNA is different than yours. Science says, no, no, it is because of the DNA. Okay, I understand. Inherited tendencies, but from where those inherited tendencies came? From the causal body. From the causal body. So there the science fails to appreciate the principle of knowledge. It does not find the ultimate cause. So we say, now we have the three bodies, the physical body, the subtle body, the causal body. Behind that causal body is the consciousness, pure consciousness, which is the real self. So to undertake a journey, we say, okay, to undertake a journey, we say, understand what the masters have revealed. The real self is eternal. What do you mean by eternal? It is beyond time. It was present in the past, it will continue to be present in the present, it will remain same as in the future. That is one.
Can I ask you,
Yeah.
the real self is eternal. What is the difference between like what we talk about and then Christianity as a religion essentially saying that the soul is eternal? Are they saying that the soul is the real self? Does Christianity are they trying to say that same thing?
Yeah, so we have to find out what exactly is this soul. So when they say the soul is eternal, and then we go and find out what is eternal. So eternal simply means that that thing is beyond the past, present, and the future. Okay, that is beyond the past, present, and the future. Now, when we say the moment we objectify the soul, we defy that it is eternal. Because any object lives in the space, any object is present in the time and cannot be timelessness. So there is a difference between the soul and the real self. We say it is just a pure consciousness. Does the consciousness has a shape? No. Does the consciousness exist as an object? No. It is just consciousness. It is just pervades. So that is what we mean by eternal. So second characteristics of this real self is that it is truth. What is truth? Truth is knowledge. So what is that knowledge in the truth? That it not only bypasses the past, present, and the future, it is not an object, and it it is not an object in the space. Anything that is an object in the space cannot be the truth, because any object, if I see it, if I feel it, if I know it by microscope or anything, object means changing, and anything that changes cannot be the truth. So we say that real self is beyond the time, space, and objectification. Then what the third characteristic comes of the real self? Third characteristic of the real self comes, then obviously it is not an object, it is beyond the time, it is beyond the space, then it has to be all pervading. All pervading means what? It is present in everything. What it means by it is all pervading. It means that there is no space left where it is not.
But Girish, you're saying that the object is not the truth, but like if you're saying that everything is consciousness and this bottle is a part of consciousness, then how could this bottle not be the truth? Isn't this bottle actually part of being the real self? So isn't it the truth?
Let us rephrase this sentence. When you say the bottle is a part of the consciousness, this is wrong. Consciousness is not a part, product, and property of anything.
Okay.
If it is a part, product, and property of anything, including the bottle, it will be subjected by the time.
But like you say, like you always give me the analogy of like the ocean and the waves, and like the waves aren't the waves a part of consciousness, which is the ocean, and so they're really the same.
Can you say the wave is a part of an water, or you say the wave is water itself? I know.
Okay, I see. So I'm not saying it the right way. I see what you're
Yes. So when I don't say the right way, obviously I live in ignorance. That is mistaken identity. The wave actually is nothing but the water, but it appears as a wave.
correct.
Now come to the same example of the bottle. Bottle appears as bottle, consciousness appears as a bottle, but the bottle does not have a medium to reflect the consciousness. That is why we say it is inert. We have a reflected medium. What is that reflected medium? Is the mind. So mind is a reflected medium on which the consciousness is reflected. So you have a reflected medium mind, then you have a reflected consciousness. That reflected consciousness is known as an individual. I am an individual, you are an individual, we have an apparent reality, but fact is that that individual keep on changing in time, subjected by the time, location, situation, relations. But that is only a reflected consciousness. Why it is a reflected consciousness? Like you see the glass, the mirror, and the sun rays falls on it. So that mirror is a reflecting medium, and you see the sunlight in your house. But that is not a real sunlight. It is only a reflection. If the mirror is full of the dirt, you don't see. So consciousness is all pervading. That is how we have to undertake a journey to reach by an understanding that how we are real self, how we are beyond the time, how we are beyond the time, space, and object, And if we are beyond the time, space, and object, obviously we have to be all pervading. So, all pervading means there is nothing in the world outside, in the world, in the cosmos, except the consciousness. But I see the millions of things. They are apparent reality. They are apparent reality.
So is my life an apparent reality?
Yeah. We are as an individual is an apparent reality. Or you can directly say it is the false I.
So is that why that you're so because like so there's the time? How can it be beyond time? Like let's say that like my dad died a year ago. Like what does that mean? I mean how?
Who died a year ago? Dad. How do you perceive the dad?
As a body?
As a body. Obviously, body continues to change. It will follow the universal law. But the consciousness never died. Consciousness left the body, so I claim that the body is dead.
So the universal law follows time, but not the real self.
Not the real self. You are right. You are reaching to that. That statement is perfectly right. Now see that time, space, and object beyond is the real self. Now what you said, beyond is the real self. What you just said, that it is beyond time. You rightly said it is beyond time. You are contemplating and reflecting rightly. So now see that if I say time has a beginning, if I say, example, time has a beginning. How do I know time has a beginning? I should have a prior time to know that the time has a beginning.
Yeah.
So time is beginningless. But because of the ignorance, I say it is past, it is present, and it is the future. And I'm caught in the past, present, and the future. Then I say the people die, they are my relations, my goodness, what should I do? I'm in grief. So what is the relationship of you with the body who died? Ask yourself. We are going into a deeper discussion. I wanted to take up the fourth step, but anyhow, let us continue. So how first thing, you are clear. First thing, you are clear. What you clear? That when you say the time has a beginning, it means there must be someone who knows when the time has begun. To know is to be conscious. To be conscious is the consciousness. So the consciousness bypasses the time.
Okay.
So it means consciousness was present before the beginning of the time, after the beginning of the time. How do I measure the time? I am 50 years old. What it means? Body is 50 years old. Is it really 50 years old? So I am calculating from the time of the birth, when I came out of the womb of the mother. Is it really? I am calculating rightly. I was present in the womb of the mother as a physical body. So now who know? Who know? The moment you say who know, this is I am. What is this I am? Is the consciousness. So what is that consciousness? Is the consciousness different from the body? Yes. So the consciousness was pre-existence before my parents fertilized and created a zygote in the womb of the mother that created a shape of the body, but the consciousness was already present before it. Disprove it. That consciousness is the real self. You cannot disprove it. So what you cannot disprove it, when you cannot falsify, it means it is the absolute reality. And that consciousness is the real self. So we try to understand first that this is eternal, means beyond time. It is truth because it bypasses, it transcends. It cannot be the object. It is beyond the space and the time. So when you prove these two things, it means it is all pervading. The third conclusion comes by itself. The consciousness is always there. It was before the birth of this body, which I claim as an individual, I am this and that. It will continue to remain. If it is pre-existent, the body, it will definitely be post-existent. So that consciousness is all pervading. Now another problem comes. So our master defined the fourth characteristics of it cannot be objectified. What do we mean by objectified? I know you. You are an object and I am a subject. So I am a knower, you are a known. How do I know you? So my consciousness first, mind borrows the consciousness, mind becomes conscious. Then the sense organ borrows the consciousness from the mind, and the sense organ becomes conscious. And then the sense organ, my eyes looks at you, it hears your name and the form, and then I say, you are an object to me. I am a subject to me. So there are two things. What are the two things? One is the knower, and other is the known. They cannot go together. I can only know anything if it is separate from me.
Okay, I get that.
So my master used to give us an example. Here is a donkey. Do you see the donkey? Yes. I know the donkey, but I do not become the donkey. By knowing anything, I do not become. That is why the knower is always different from the known. Clear? So if that is clear, so now if I say that, can I bring the real self in front of my sense organ? No. Then that real self becomes an object. Then object will be subjected to the space and the time. So it means my sense organ are useless to know, to discover the real self. Sense organ cannot know the real self. Can the mind know the real self? No, the mind also objectifies. If any object is in front of the mind, then only I know the real self. Can the moon know the sun? No. No, not at all. Sun is the real self. Here the moon is the mind. So moon says, I will know the sun. Sun says, I will take my light from you, and then go and find out. Who am I? You cannot find out. So that is the reason we say we reach to a state of mind which transcends the mind, and where we find the real self. The fourth characteristic is that the real self cannot be objectified. I cannot know the real self as an object. Okay, then what is the way? There is no way you can know the real self as an object. So what is left? I know the real self as a subject. What it means as a subject? Subject means I am. So am I consciousness? Answer is yes. I'm the real self. I'm the real self. I cannot be the object of perception. I cannot be the object of knowledge. Because I am, who is the knower, who is the consciousness, who knows an object. Oh, so I'm consciousness, yes. So what happened? Everything, senses, objects merges into the sense organ merges into the mind merges into the intellect merges into the ego. They all are false I. What is left? Ego merges into the consciousness. Now I know I am consciousness. That is why that real self is little different from the soul of what we refer to as. But if we refer the soul as the real self, as the pure consciousness having these characteristics, then obviously we are right. So these are the four characteristics. Remember, that is the journey we are undertaking. How to realize that I am eternal, I am truth, I am all-pervading, I cannot be objectified. Now see, where is the fifth characteristic comes? If I cannot be objectified, then I cannot be the doer. I cannot be the experiencer. It goes very deep. Because if I'm all pervading, where I'm taking an action.
Yeah.
So am I actionless? Yes. So when I'm actionless means that am I a doer? No, I'm not a doer. No, but I'm speaking. So speaker is a doer. Find out who is the speaker. Can you claim that the lips are speaker? Larynx are speaker? Come on. Breath is speaker? Who is the speaker here? That is the false identity we have been living with. I am a doer. I have achieved. I am so rich. Really? You are the poorest guy because you don't know your real self. You claim you related yourself to the wealth, and that's why you say that you are rich. So relationship means with an object. You forget that you are all pervading. So you become a doer in the experiencer. That doer in the experiences kills us all the time. Wow, how come? That is why you say I'm upset yesterday. Today I'm happy. You are beyond unhappiness. You are beyond that sadness. You are not worthy of suffering. Who is worthy of the suffering? False I. How come? You are not a doer and the experiencer. You are beyond all your experiences. So once we reach to a state of the consciousness which is neither a doer nor an experiencer, that is the fifth characteristic. Where is the sixth one? So Minder, the masters for the sake of understanding says that it does not go any kind of modification. Modification means change. Consciousness does not change. So they say that, look closely. The body undergoes the 6 modifications, the 6 changes. Where is the first change? It exists. Then it takes the birth. It exists in the womb of the mother, first change. Then it comes out of the womb of the mother, it becomes the birth. Third change, it grows. It grows. Growth is a change. Fourth is the development. So based on the DNA, we develop vertically. But because of our involvement and attachment, because of our craziness and obsession, we also develop horizontally. That is our mistake, we develop horizontally also, our belly and the waist. And then what is the fifth change? We decay. The decaying process begins after the moment we take the birth. And the last change is the death. So this body is subjected to these 6 modifications. The mind is subjected to this modification. So one modification, I'm upset. I identify myself with the mind and I say that I'm the mind, that's why I'm upset. All experiences takes place in the mind. But I still claim that I'm upset and I'm happy with you. I'm related to you. I marry you. You are my soulmate. After a few weeks, you are my soulmate. So these are all experiences happening in the mind. I become the doer and the experiencer, but I'm not the doer and the experiencer. So the 6 characteristics. So these 6 characteristics, and we inquire and examine every bit of our life, all our actions, thought, feeling, sensation, emotion, frustration, anxiety, duality. We come to a clarity. What is that knowledge? I now know that I'm not none of these frustration, suffering, duality, conflict. I'm the pure consciousness, ever present, all pervading. So that is what I summarized at that when I say the real self, I am happiness, I am truth, I am love, I am wisdom. This is, I used to summarize before.
Yeah.
So it means then I use the adjective. It is a permanent state of happiness. Permanent means unchanging, not subjected by the time, space, location, situation, relations, conditions. but I take myself as a false I, and that is what we discussed in the last session. This false I has a millions of names and the forms. I am upset, one I. I'm happy, second I. I'm married, third I. I'm father, fourth I. I'm son, fifth I. I'm going slowly, but if you examine throughout the day, 24 hours, you will discover more than 1,000 eyes that keeps on changing. It has become a new normal for us, and that new normal means I'm living in ignorance. Ignorance causes the impurities in the mind, and that impurities are made up of likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment. The likes and dislikes causes attachment and detachment, causes a joy in the sorrow. You have already experienced a couple of weeks ago what to talk about that. You sad, who sad? You sad, and then question mark, who sad? I gave her 200%. I'm asking you, who's sad? And why one sad? Only because of the liking. Do you dislike someone and you say that I give you 200%?
No.
So before you before you are attached, you have your mind created an idea of liking. But why you created the idea of a liking? Ask yourself. Because I want to be happy.
Yeah.
But why you want to be happy with a person you wanted to you gave 200%? Because I have a hollowness inside. I feel the sense of incompleteness in me. I don't see that I am of the nature of happiness. That is why I'm searching happiness outside.
Because like too often don't we like people go off of like how they feel instead of like what they know. So like if they don't feel good inside, then they believe what they feel.
Yes, they feel that they don't feel good inside. That is a trigger point. It is an ignorance because I don't know my real nature. I'm of the nature of happiness and love. Because I don't know, so I have a feeling that I'm upset today. So let me fill the void of being upset by someone outside, by something outside, by some action outside. That is the first level of ignorance. We start with it. So I strengthen my idea and a thought and a knowledge that I'm hollow inside.
Yeah.
So you continue, then I continue to be a filthy, rich, or whatever you want to say. I want to marry 10 people and I want to have all the cars. I'm trying to fill that sense of incompleteness. You do whatever you want to do in the world outside, you will remain incomplete. Do whatever you do, you remain incomplete. So that sense of incompleteness continues to haunt you throughout your life. You have $50 billion, you have 50 cars, you have 50 mansions. They cannot go inside. They live only until the level of the physical existence. They cannot enter into your mind. They cannot say to the mind, now you have 50 cars, are you feeling sense of completeness? No. Let me buy one more, 50 first.
It's the same thing every time.
Every time, same thing. So every time.
One more girl, one more.
One more. Yes, you're right. One more girl, one more marriage.
Yeah.
You are lucky, at least you have yet to marry, many people come with, they say you are so good, I appreciate you. But then they start attending the session once they divorce. They start living with someone else. so, so now I'm living with my girlfriend. I said, okay. So that girl nomenclature is girlfriend, and previous girl nomenclature was my wife. Before the wife, another nomenclature was soulmate. Before that, it was a soulmate. How many times I have changed? How many times? So I'm already living in ignorance. Until we get rid of this ignorance, make it very clear the sense of incompleteness cannot become complete by any acquiring, possessing, experiencing any object, any person, any relationship in the world. What should I do? Let me discover if I am the real self, how I am the real self, in what way. So then, so-called the soul of the Christianity, and here I have already clarified that consciousness comes in front. At present, the false I is in front. I'm the doer, I'm the experiencer, I get upset over the small things. I am still searching something to feel complete and happy and enjoy. Why I go on vacation? Because I feel the sense of incompleteness and hollowness inside. What I do on vacation, I do the same thing again and again. I objectify my experiences. I cannot be the object, but still I objectify. How I objectify? What exactly I go and see in the vacation? I see the sea beach. Maybe I see the mountain. Have you not seen the mountain before? Have you not seen the ocean before? Have you not seen the room which you say I lived in a luxury? No, what we say? Suite. A grand suite that costed $5,000. So first is $5,000 to fill the gap of incompleteness, not possible. Living in a suite is nothing but living in any room. At the end of the day, we die in a 4x6 space before we wake up. Whether you are living in a suite or you are living in a bench. Come on.
But doesn't it feel like? But I feel more comfortable in my house than being homeless.
Yes, so there the master says, what exactly physical existence is. Physical existence is different from the psychological existence, and physical existence and psychological existence are separate and different from the real self, which is a pure consciousness. That is the first thing to be understood. Second thing to be understood, definitely, for a physical existence, food, shelter, food and the shelter are definitely required. Because then only my mind can think properly. Then only I can continue this journey of the self-discovery. A person who is a homeless, who lives every day, just for the bite of the food, they don't have a time to think what is the real self. So that minimum necessity is required, minimum physical necessity to survive is definitely required. But does it have a total control over the mind? The answer is no. No. Mind is still independent. Mind says this is enough for me. But when I say this is not enough, then the mind begins with the likes and dislikes, and it starts finding the sense of completeness in the objects outside. That is the problem. That is why we have a disparity in the world. That is why we have the poor and the rich in the world. So that's totally another social problem. So you are right in saying that physical existence is definitely required. If you are feeling hungry and you cannot listen to me, you are going to listen to your instinct of hunger. So unless the minimum level, so we say minimum level, it should be met, so that your mind is relaxed from the physical comfort, you are comfortable, you are not feeling hungry, you are not thirsty, so you can listen to this knowledge and absorb that knowledge. Yes, that is required. But remember, the physical existence is totally different from a psychological existence. And these two layers of the apparent existence is totally different from the final absolute existence that is consciousness. Consciousness is still independent whether you are poor or rich. But the mind creates the barrier, it creates the impurities, it creates a tremendous sense of fear. So that is why we cannot recognize that consciousness. You see the same. Physical abundance cannot fill the sense of incompleteness at the mental level. I always cite an example of the Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. He has. I don't know that, but I heard somewhere in the saying he has 500 million yacht. I cannot fill my sense of incompleteness. But whether I have 500 million yacht or 1 billion,
Yeah.
it does not make any sense. But I do not understand. It does not make any sense. How come? Go back again. I have a feeling of sense of incompleteness inside me. And I want to be complete by having an object outside, not possible. So that is what the ignorance is. That is what the false notion is. You buy a new car. First day, that false I says, now let me try. Your manner, your expression, everything is changed. Second day, that level of the pleasure becomes 90%. After 10 days, it becomes 1%. After that, it's so a usual and habitual routine. You don't even care to car wash. So, where the pleasure has gone? If the pleasure continues to be there with that car, it means it will continue. So it is not permanent. It has already gone. So it is impermanent. What is impermanent is constantly changing. It exists at particular time in the location. It does not exist at another time and location. So it cannot be the all absolute existence and absolute reality. But we keep on running after these pleasures. Another question, doubtful question comes, should we not have a pleasure? No. Who says? Master says no. But let the pleasure teach you before you go for the next pleasure. Let the pleasure should not make you create an obsession. If the pleasure creates an obsession, it means the mind has already taken for granted that the happiness is outside. So that is what is known as the discernment and a dispassion. So I have a dispassion. It doesn't mean that I do not go to the restaurant and eat the food. If it is available, if it is within my resources, let me go and enjoy. But at the same time, I'm aware that that pleasure which I experience in the food is coming from inside. It is not present in any food. If I say I enjoy a cup of coffee, I like it. So either the pleasure is present in the coffee, and if the pleasure is present in the coffee, then I have to validate that. How to validate? Do you like coffee? You say no, you say I hate coffee. So that is the first disapproval, that the coffee, it means you should like the coffee because the coffee contains the pleasure. Or any object, or maybe sex, or whatever it is, any form. So it means what? It proves with a confirmation that pleasure or happiness is not present in any object, any food outside. Now find out. No, but I experience the pleasure inside my mind. I said, I am hearing you. I listen to you. I understand. So you want to say that the pleasure is present in the mind. What do you mean? Do you mean that to say that the pleasure is a part, product, and property of the mind? Are you sure? So when you say I am sure, then you can never be upset. You are always happy. If the pleasure and happiness is the property of the mind, obviously then you are always happy. No mental illnesses, present in the world. So what it proves? It simply proves that mind, the inherent property, the intrinsic property of the mind is not happiness. No, but I feel pleasure, I feel happy. No, as you said, I feel something.
Yeah.
You always stress on feeling. So I feel happiness, after taking a coffee. But the coffee does not contain happiness, mind does not contain happiness, but still I feel happy. From where that happiness comes? That happiness comes from the consciousness. Consciousness, the nature of the consciousness is happiness. No, but by mistake, I feel the coffee gives me happiness. By mistake, I feel the mind is happy taking a cup of coffee. It is a mistaken identity. That mistaken identity is a wrong notion, and that is where we continue to live in ignorance. Every day in the morning, we run after those objects and things and situations and the time which has given me the happiness yesterday or last year. So I keep on repeating. So what it means, I keep on repeating, doing the same thing again and again and expecting a permanent happiness, not possible. Master says, okay, how many types of the food you have eaten which has given you a sense of pleasure? So collect all the amounts, all the degrees of the pleasures that you received by eating 100 different kinds of it. It cannot become even 1 unit of happiness because that pleasure has come and gone. It is dead now. If it has given you happiness, you still be feeling that sense of happiness after eating, for example, the chicken. You like chicken, so okay, you enjoyed it. Do you still have that sense of happiness? No. I have that happiness in the form of a thought. So when you repeat this thought, it becomes a feeling. So you're talking about your feeling, all the feelings are nonsense. Thought is being repeated, it becomes a feeling. What the Hitler said, you repeat the false 100 times, it becomes it appears as the truth. Do you want to rely on your feeling? Are you not different from the feeling? Do you want to examine your feeling? Whether it is pointing to the absolute truth or not? Or you simply rely on the feeling, I feel upset, so you are upset. This is the weakness of the mind.
Is it a feeling or is it really a thought?
Every feeling has to have a thought. If there is no thought, there cannot be feeling. So we normally separate the feeling and the thought as two entities. When I say I feel, obviously I have expressed it as a thought.
Yeah.
Before expression through the speech, I already have a non-verbal thought expression of a feeling. Haha. And what is thought? Thought is equal to object plus knowledge of an object plus consciousness. What do you mean? Thought. What is a thought? I know you. So now translate this. I know you is a thought is equal to an object. Who is an object? You. Knowledge of an object. So I know you plus consciousness. Without an object, you cannot have a feeling. And that object is not you. So you don't have that feeling. That feeling is associated with some connection with that an object. And that object is matter. You cannot be an object. So hence you don't have a feeling. You don't have a feeling. but I claim it is my feeling.
Yeah.
I have such a nice feeling about you. And if the other guy also likes, okay, yes, yes, let us meet and have a date. Begins the journey of ignorance. Feeling destroys us. So, feeling, thought is any feeling, or you can even say feeling is equal to there must be an object for which I feel. So, I have a knowledge about that object. So, if I have a good feeling, it means I have that object which I like, and plus consciousness. Feeling, I have enough. No, at the social level, professional level, it's okay. It is an apparent reality. We have to live in the apparent world for the apparent reality, for the sake of convenience. You don't go to the dad and you said you are crazy. No. I should express until I realize the real self. When I realize the real self, then the real self will take care of it. The real self will take care of it. Because then, will I ever say, Dad, you are crazy? No. Why I can't say? Because I see this one consciousness between the two. These two people are apparent reality, but I see the same consciousness. I don't dare, my mind doesn't dare to say you are crazy. I feel you are my right hand and I am my left hand. So how the right hand can fight with the left hand? So the consciousness reveals the compassion in the mind. The love expressed is compassion. Consciousness remains an epitome of the love that is expressed. When it is expressed with reference to the world and the people outside, the relations outside, it is what is known as the compassion.
Okay. Can I ask you one question? Because I know we have to go soon, and we can finish with this last question because it's been on my mind, and I can't. I'm trying to discern it, and I can't discern it. So, like, we've talked a lot about fear and my fears, and like I've expressed to you my fears in the past, and we've talked about how fear is the rope snake, the mirage, how it's a duality, how if there is no second thing, there really can't be fear. But then we also talk about like, but if a lion starts to chase me, that is real fear, and I'm supposed to run. But like, why wouldn't I? So I'm confused because like on one hand, like the fear of that one employee that I thought was going to hurt me, you say is not real. But then if a lion starts chasing me, that is real. So can you help discern that for me? Because for some reason I can't.
Yeah. The real self, when it manifests into the body has a natural instinct and a reflex action to save yourself from the real so-called fear of the body, fear of the death of the body. It has a genuine concern. It takes a reflex action. But when we think in terms of the fear, in the terms of the thought, that thought does not contain the fear. I heard a very good story my master used to tell. One guy whose house was on fire, and he called the fire station. He said, "Hi, hello, how are you? What are you doing? Are you into the fire station?" So I'm defying the actual fear. So after 10 minutes of the talk, he says, if you have time, you can come to my house, and my house is on fire. So we rationalize too much the fear which does not exist. And when we have a genuine fear, the body has a reflex action, it acts. And when I'm already realized as a real self, then the mind does not interfere. It puts you into the right moment, the right action. So I need not to think about those fear before I have a genuine fear, before the lion truly comes. Because I'm already living a life with that real self, I will not enter into any situation, location where there may be a moment of physical threat. Because of the mindfulness. So if in fact I'm living a life of fearlessness.
I see. So on the one, so like it'd be like if you and I were to go take a walk in the forest, and I was like, God, I hope a bear doesn't get us. That would be ignorant.
That is
But then,
ignorance, yeah.
you and I are enjoying our walk in the forest, and then if a bear starts chasing us, then we run. But it's, I see what you're saying. So one is almost in real time, and then the other is ignorant because it's not even happening to you. It's delusional.
Yes, it is delusional. So 99% of our fears are delusional.
Yeah,
And
because they're not actually happening.
1% is, even if you say real with reference to the body. That's why we have a house. Every time we close the house so that no intruder enters into it. We have a clarity about that. That is the way to save ourselves. We are 100% clear. But we verbalize our fear in the form of a thought, and repeated thought becomes a feeling. And then I say, no, I have a fear of dying. Why don't you die then? You have a fear of death. What the heck are you talking about? You have a fear of death. No, I feel like dying. You did die? I remember again the master was 70 years old guy. He said, no, I have an extreme fear of death, Guruji. And then he gave hundreds of incidents. So my master said, did you speak? It's finished. I will get you out of the fear. So my master told him, I give you a warranty plus guarantee that one day you will definitely die. Be fearless. Be fearless. So what I'm referring to that the body has to leave one day. It is constantly undergoing a modification and a change. We say that change is the death, but the existence sees that change is eternal as far as the matter is concerned. So we need not to be scared. We should not have that fear at all.